we will get into fan questions now. We're almost an hour into this, and we're getting into fan questions. So I had a couple questions from last week that I wanted to answer, and here's one. This is from Jordan Taylor. What's your prediction for our Grizzlies in 24? Will Ayat flourish? Personally, I think Ayat and Junior have a monster year. Jordan Taylor. That was from Jordan Taylor. I believe he asked that on Facebook. But what is my prediction? What's your predictions for our Grizzlies in 24? Will Ayat flourish? I think Ayat can flourish. Will he flourish? I don't know. That depends on what they do in the offseason. That depends on how dedicated he is in the offseason. That depends on the work he puts in. I think he has the potential to flourish. I think he... What the heck was that? I think he has the potential to be a star. I think he has the potential to be great. I think he has all the tools and talents, but you have to put the work in. You have to be dedicated. You have to put your head down. You got to work. You got to work. You got to work. You got to work to be perfect. You got to work to be great. You got to work to be, you have to be the leader of the team. You're going to be if you want to be the starting quarterback, you're going to be the leader of the team. Everybody's going to be looking to you in times of adversity. Everybody's going to be looking to you for answers all the time. It has to be you. Where do I see for them in 24? What's your predictions for our Grizzlies in 24? Man. I'm going to give them, I think they play 12 games next season. I could see the Griz being 9-3 next season coming out of the regular season. I hope I'm wrong in a good way. I hope I'm wrong in a good way. But being fair about everything and looking at the schedule, I don't think they have the easiest schedule, but I don't think they have the toughest schedule either. They got Western Carolina as one of their non-conference games, so that's going to be a very interesting game. That's a game that they could lose because Western Carolina was fairly good last year. I don't know how they're going to be this year, but that's going to be a tough game. I think I could see them going 9-3, 8-4 next year, potentially competing for the Big Sky Conference, depending on how the conference looks. I don't think the conference looks too strong next year. Montana State lost a lot. Montana lost quite a bit. Sac State, I don't know how much they lost. I think they lost quite a bit. But then you got to think about the teams that weren't so good last year that were just too young or weren't tooled enough to be able to compete that are going to be good this year. So it's going to be interesting. I give Montana 9-3, 8-4 type season. I hope I'm wrong in a good way. I'll say that again. I hope I'm wrong. I'm not doubting them. I'm just trying to be realistic. So anybody watching this that takes that personally, please don't take it personally. Don't kill the messenger. Those are just my genuine opinions. But I think they could have a monster year. I think Junior is going to have a monster year given if he's healthy. If everybody stays healthy, I think they could have an amazing year. I think that's something that played in Montana's favor last year. They had relatively good health. None of the, if you look at, I talked about this all the time. The Griz haven't had a season where they've went all the way through with their starting quarterback ever. At least in my time being a supporter and fan of the Griz since, I committed here in 2016. I didn't know all the past years, but I know ever since I've been a fan of the Griz and been a part of the Griz family that the quarterbacks have always gotten hurt. Every time I played, every year I played, our quarterback got hurt. Dalton got hurt. Cam got hurt. And I think my freshman year, Brady got hurt. So, guys have always been hurt around quarterbacks. No, Reese, my redshirt freshman year, Reese. And we don't have to go down that injury, but Reese got hurt my freshman year, the second game of the season against Savannah State. Nasty injury. Just sucks for him in his senior season. But we've always had our quarterbacks getting hurt. So, health is going to be a big thing. So if the Griz can stay healthy, I think they'll have a good chance to be successful. But, we'll see. We'll see. Thank you for your question, Jordan Taylor. I appreciate you. Okay. Chris Powers on Facebook. He said, which team in comma or in quotes, what are those? Parentheses. Gosh, bro. Sometimes. Okay, Chris Powers. Which team, parentheses, be it all FCS or conference specific, in parentheses, could you see having the biggest change in the record from last year to next year, for good or for negative? Oh, I could see the biggest change happening for NAU. They were 5-6 overall. Portland State was 5-6 overall as well. But if we're just talking about in FCS conferences in the Big Sky, I could see the biggest change coming for Northern Arizona. They were 5-6 overall. No, because, I couldn't really see them being 6-5, 7-5, 8-5. That's not a big drastic change. Here's what I'm going to do. I could see the best record turnaround being for Eastern. They were 4-7 this year. I could see a 7-4, maybe 8-3 season coming out of them next year. I don't know. This is a good question, man. This is a good question. This is a very good question. There were some pretty good records in the conference. SAC 8-5, UC Davis 7-4, Montana State 8-4. Idaho 9-4. I could see Idaho potentially having a down year. You know, they're losing their best receiver. They're losing their quarterback. They lost their running back. They lost their DB. I think they lost a couple more pieces on defense, but they lost a lot. So I'm gonna say either in a positive way, Eastern Washington, I could see their record changing, or in a negative way. You know, Idaho was 9-4 last year with one playoff win and one playoff loss. I could see Idaho's record being negatively, being the worst negatively. I could see them potentially being towards the bottom of the conference, just based off everything they lost. Their best running back, best receiver, quarterback, DB. Like, that's tough. That's tough. So, that's my answer to that question. Thank you, Chris Powers, for your question. I appreciate it so much. Thank you. Next question, Robert Thurman. And I get this like every week, and this is definitely what you guys care about. Who will be Montana's starting quarterback, or will they start a 2 QB system? I could definitely see them starting a 2 QB system to start the season next year. They did that this year. They did that this season, and obviously they had to move away from it due to how Clifton was playing and how how things were looking for them. But I could see them starting out with the 2 QB system. Logan Fife being the Logan Fife and KLEE, maybe potentially splitting reps. But I could also see them starting Logan Fife. The guy has more college experience than KLEE. He's a little older. I'm sure his experiences, what he's seen, what he's learned, is a little bit broader than what KLEE currently knows. So I could see Logan Fife starting and them starting with him and just trying to roll the dice with him and seeing how it goes. I don't know. I've mentioned on multiple occasions that I think Kali Ayat will be the starter. I think he has the potential to be the starter. I think he has the ability to be the starter. But I've also mentioned that I think he's young, and I think he's going to need a little bit more time behind center, more live reps, game reps, to be able to be the quarterback that everybody wants him to be. Because I understand he has the talent. I understand he's shown the ability, but those live reps are different. Being able to play when the game speed is much faster than practice speed. I'll always say that. You have more adrenaline rushing in game, all that stuff. There's so many more things pulling at you during a game that can play a part into how you play in the game. So, I could see them 100% starting Logan Fife, but I could see them doing the 2 quarterback system as well. So those are my 2 options. You said who will be Montana's starting quarterback, or will they start a 2 QB system? I'm gonna give you 2 options. I could see them doing the 2 quarterback system with Logan Fife and Cat. 3 options, which is not really answering your question. I don't know. I'm not even gonna give you my 3 options because I just laid them out. I could see either Logan Fife or Kali Ayat starting, but I think it's between them 2. Colton Kynes. What was the biggest change? Thank you, Colton, for your question. What was the biggest change for you going from college to the Stars? How was life different? Just the fact that, I love my teammates from the Stars. Those are my dogs. Terry, Corey, I'm blanking, Dev, Roe, Jordan, all those guys. My teammates, I love those guys. But I would say in college, it's a much more, friend type environment, because in professional football, you're fighting for a spot. So everybody, you're going to be friendly. We're joking around. We're having a good time. But at the end of the day, I got to eat. I got to feed my family. So it's there's levels, in college it's friendly, and it's everybody trying to eat in college too. And especially now, I can imagine what it's like in those locker rooms now with people fighting for dollars and NIL and all that stuff. But, in college, it's much more friendly. I would say that was my first impression. It's just much more friendly in the meetings and everything. And not that those guys were mean, we had a great time. But I guess I'm just speaking on training camp. When you get into training camp, things are a little more tight than they are in college. Obviously, things are tight in college because, coaches are probably on your ass. You guys probably running a lot. You probably super tired. But, everything is just so more high strung in professional settings because, when you're watching those meetings and we did meetings where we watched it with everybody. We're watching with the O-line. Well, the O-line would watch while we watched the pressure period, and then they would go. But the O-line, the receivers, the running backs, and the tight ends, and then obviously the quarterbacks, we're all in the meetings together. And it just, every time you make a mistake, it's just you feel the magnitude of it. every mistake is magnified. Every little thing that you do, every false step that you take, everything is magnified, and it's like it's put under a magnifying glass. Like every mistake, you got to minimize the margin for error, and the margin for error is just so small in professional football, and the windows are much tighter. Everybody's much faster, and obviously I've never played in the NFL, so everybody's probably even a step faster in the NFL. But I had tons of teammates that had played in the NFL who had been at that level and had experienced that, and it's just different. It's just much more business-like. Everybody's friendly, but at the end of the day, I'm trying to eat. So if you're in my way, that's a problem. And that was just my impression. Great competition, just to be able to compete. Much more relaxed too. Colton, this more than anything. We played under Houck, so Houck's a hard-nosed type football coach. He's gonna try to get the best out of you every day, and he's gonna push you to be that. Practices are gonna be hard. Training camp is gonna be hard. Winter condo is gonna be hard. Everything about playing under a Houck system is meant to be hard, so that when you get into the game, it's easy. In professional football, it's more so on you to get not more so on you to get yourself ready, because we're still doing install and we're still doing the plays and everything. They're in that in practice, but practices are much more lighter.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Like, we're definitely not thudding the way we were at Montana. When we say thud, it's definitely thud, damn near two-hand touch. Like, you're not even touching guys at practice a lot of times. And it's just much more geared towards keeping guys on the field for Saturday or Sunday. We played on Saturday and Sundays in the USFL. So it's much more geared towards keeping people healthy to play on Saturday and Sunday, rather than it is to, push you and tire you out during the week like it was in college under Houck. That's just my personal experience with, being that I played under Houck and being that I played in the USFL. But, man, it was awesome. It was awesome. The differences are not very drastic, but there's little differences here and there about, the practices, the mentality of some of the guys, just few differences here, but it's amazing. And to play on a Sunday, and I guess I'll say this too, like, we're not practicing as much in the USFL. Like, we play on Sunday, we get Monday off, we come in Tuesday, watch the film, and then I think that's all we're doing on Tuesday, and then we practice Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday's really like a walkthrough, and then Saturday's another little walkthrough before we travel to wherever we're going to play at. So I'd say you practice much less in the USFL compared to college. College, we get Monday, so we play Saturday, we get Sunday off. Monday, we're doing a little walkthrough. This is under Houck. Monday, we're doing a little walkthrough. Tuesday, full pads. Wednesday, full pads, or, at least shells. We're going to be in shoulder pads on Tuesday and Wednesday. Thursday, fast walkthrough. You're sweating a lot. You're getting a lot of plays in on Thursday. And then Friday, obviously, we're getting another walkthrough in, and then we're traveling for the game. But less practices. You're definitely in pads much less in professional football. At least in the USFL, we were in pads much less than I had been in college, and those are some of the differences. But thank you for your question, Colton. I appreciate it, and hopefully that answers your question. But that is gonna do it for my questions today. I didn't actually get too many, but that's going to do it for my questions today. Hopefully I was able to answer you guys' questions effectively. I just want to say thank you guys for asking all those questions. Thank you guys for tapping into my channel. I appreciate it so much. I wouldn't be doing any of these videos if it weren't for you guys. So if there's any type of format that you guys want to see, any way that you guys would like me to answer some of these questions, let me know. But I appreciate you guys for asking everything that you've asked. I appreciate you guys for tapping into the channel. Please tell somebody you know to subscribe to the channel. Please tell somebody you know to come check me out, because I'm dropping videos every week. Got a new breakdown dropping later this week. A lot of you guys would really want to see that breakdown. It's a really good breakdown. I'm not going to tease it too much, but it's three guys I love a lot, and it's going to be an amazing video, and I hope you guys love it as much as I do, because I was really happy to be able to make it. And yeah, but thank you guys for tapping into my channel. Thank you guys for patronizing this content. Leave a like, leave a comment, let me know what you guys want to see next. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe. I'll say it again, subscribe to the channel, please, and thank you. I'll catch you guys next week. See ya.